I'm John Emrich, and I get a lot of questions about the technique that I use. And a lot of people want to, either take a lesson or just have me explain it all in a way that everyone can understand, which is next to impossible. So what I've done is decided, all right, I'll try to figure out a way to explain what it is exactly that I do. And this gave me an opportunity to not only look at my own playing, but also look at everybody else. You can go on YouTube, you see plenty of different Zendrum styles. And what I've come up with is kind of a four, let's call them concepts, 4 different strokes, if you will, that are involved as the basis for everything we do. Maybe this can be our own version of rudiments. I'll leave that for you guys to figure out. But the 4 concepts are simple. It's steering wheel drumming, the guys that play with their thumb, so thumb style, fingertip, and whole hand. All 4 of those styles definitely have a place in Zen drumming. So let's just take a quick look at what I'm talking about when I talk about these different styles. So steering wheel drumming, think of the guy driving down the road, banging on his steering wheel while he's, playing, while he's driving his car. Nothing wrong with that concept. In fact, that stroke is very natural, and you'll see that stroke a lot just in general percussion. For instance, that basic stroke, say applied to a tambourine. I'll use that stroke, say at the end of a fill where I'm coming down to an area, say at the bottom of the Zen drum, where I want to hit a pad for like a cymbal. So the stroke is definitely used a lot. The second stroke I call thumb style. You actually see a lot of guys playing thumb style. Thumb style basically is now the way I'm getting the bass drum is I'm still just using the same stroke. I'm just pivoting my hand down to make contact with that second pad. So it's basically the same stroke. Again, this is another one of those strokes that it's easy to do. We already have the muscle structure set up for it. What guys usually need to go next with that is to incorporate what we'd consider like the back side of that stroke. So you have this. You also want to then have your fingers involved, so you're coming back. Back to that concert tambourine. And by the way, I recommend people getting acoustic little frame drums like the tambourine or maybe those little Remo tars. They're inexpensive, and using this kind of a drum is a great way to work on getting the stroke even between the, say in this case, the thumb and the finger. If you've never done the finger part, you'll end up probably strong with the thumb, so not even. So doing that's only on the Zen drum can be a little deceiving, because depending on the tones you've put into the different pads, they might be working against what you're really doing with your hand. So try working on a little tambourine or frame drum. It does wonders. So that's the back side. So let's do that. Everyone's heard of Ted Reed, I hope. If you haven't, go check out his book, Syncopation. A lot of people have used the Dawson methods for teaching these things. So, and everyone talks about page 37, which I have up over here. So just playing in a straight eighth note type of a pattern, using the thumb style with the finger, we can play the excerpt on page 37. We'll play the primary beat that we actually see on the page with our thumb and fill in the after beats with the finger. Okay, so the primary goes. So all we're going to do is fill in the backstroke with the fingers. Get it? I kind of cheesed up the last bar. Let me do it again. great method book for all drumming, but it definitely applies here. Now the next phase, we've incorporated our fingertips now, is just going straight to fingertip drumming. Not only is this applicable to the Zendrum, but anyone who plays a tabletop like an MPC style drum machine, or even the Zendrum Zap, fingertip style is it's a preferred method for those instruments because you really don't have enough room to get in with your full hand or your thumb. The other reason it's really preferred for a lot of the things, especially that I do, I rely on that more, is because of the clusters of pads. Everything's close together. If I play with a full hand, I get multiple pads. If I play with the thumb, I can't get around as easy, and I still hit multiple pads. Fingertip, I get a lot more control. Even just doing something like paradiddles. Fingertip style. Again, back to the acoustic drums, the tambourine. So basically playing on the drum here. To get that bass drum, all I'm doing is I'm using this finger for the hi-hat, and then I just bring the third finger down when I want to have the bass drum play, so it hits here. So going back to something like the syncopation book, you can have eighth notes going. Page 37. And then even just putting in a backbeat here on the left hand, now all of a sudden we've got a groove and all these different examples that we can work on to drill with. Pretty slick way to do that. Now, don't just concentrate on the two strong ones. Make sure you get the little ones and the ring fingers, everything gets in there. You're going to go for a smooth response. Which brings me into the next variation. The fingertip style lends itself to what I call basically I'm stealing something from guitar player and banjo players, which is what they call a roll. And what you'll do is you'll play a downbeat with your thumb, and then you'll play two more notes with your fingers. So both hands. Oops. So again, this is now using rolls, and you can do different versions of the rolls. You can do what's called inverted, so it goes the other way. You can do inside-out rolls, which is finger, outside finger, then the thumb. Again, it's a great way to play with this. So it's techniques you want to develop. Now the last thing is what I call whole hand, which is a lot of people will see my approach will be, my hands will be kind of moving up and down. What I mean by whole hand is I'm using different parts of the fingers now. So I might be using the ends, the tips, or the first knuckles in here. And I got this concept from playing tar. So you're playing fingertips, and when you want the doom type sound, you're going in, and I go in with this finger. So So again, it's great to have an acoustic drum like that laying around because I can really focus on the dynamics. So this is basically in a nutshell the things that I'm using on the Zendrum. Getting back to the Ted Reed syncopation book, every aspect of these 4 different concepts that I've put up, I encourage you to try using a book like the Ted Reed syncopation book and working on those concepts, those techniques, while applying them to the book. So another one that you'll see a lot in the syncopation, the Ted Reed syncopation drum set world, is long notes, short notes. So they'll do eighth notes with one sound, quarter notes with another sound, and what you'll do then is fill in the blanks. So we'll fill in the blanks with basically we're going to do triplet style. So I'll use those to fill in the blanks, and then for the long notes, I'll do that tom for the eighth notes, and I'll do this snare drum for the quarter notes, and I'll fill in the rest on the hi-hat. So again, back to page 37 of the syncopation book. There's no other way to explain it other than that. That takes a lot of effort to work on the fingers because you're using muscles that you're not used to using. I encourage you to try this because once you get going, it's pretty addictive and it's very easy to do. So I'll play that one more time. And you can invert the thing then too. And again, flip it to the other hands when you get a chance. So that's my breakdown as an introductory to you of the techniques that I'm using. Please feel free to send YouTube questions in if you want, or actually preferred is to post your questions. For those of you that are already forum members, post them on the forum, and maybe we can, if you've got specific questions, maybe we can address them with just single targeted videos just on those questions. So I'd like to thank you for watching. And before I wrap up, I get a lot of people asking me, well, he uses his feet, but we don't know how he uses his feet. So I've included a foot camera now. So left foot, basically the left foot is used to control the degree of open for my hi-hat. Again, I'm using BFD2 for this. So the hi-hat, I have tip and shank on the instrument. And then on the floor, different degrees of open. Now everything I've played up to this point has been bass drum on the machine, but I also have the Zendrum, and then I also have a bass drum on the floor. This is great for doing hand-foot combinations. I don't really have an explanation. I just think, and I don't really spend a lot of time going, oh, I'm going to use my foot for this, I'm going to use my hand for this. It just kind of just happens. I'll just play. I encourage you to, use whatever you want. For a long time, guys didn't want to use pedals at all. Some of you still want to be that way. If you want to get up and walk around and dance, obviously you can't use a pedal. In my world, in my mind, I want to use everything that I can possibly use to make music to my advantage. So that includes feet. If I could train my toes to work independently, I'd probably have a Zendrum on the floor also. But I'll just play a little bit, give you an idea of how the combinations go between the two. So I hope this video was helpful. Like I said, that's my take on Zendrum Technique. It comes down to those 4 basic concepts. If you have questions, please post them on the Zendrum forums. And Be happy to answer as much as I can. Thank you for watching.